you haven't pre-ordered F1 2017 just yet, guys, don't forget to check out Simply Games for a brilliant, brilliant price as well. Be top link down the description, guys, and if you order through that link, you also help me out. I'd also like to thank Rixon for making the thumbnails for this series as well, guys, and only just a little bit of an apology as well, because unfortunately you can't update your force feedback yet on F1 2017, which means when I did this live com, my wheel at some places was very, very loud. I don't intend to do any more live com just of now with my wheel being so loud, guys, but hopefully you can look over it and just enjoy the first episode of this career mode, guys. I try to give a really in-depth look at the game, so hopefully you enjoy. So here we are then, guys, the start of F1 2017. There's been so much hype around this game over the last few weeks, the last couple of months, guys. I'm really looking forward to jumping straight into it. And I know already there will be a few questions about how I got this game early. And to answer that very simply, I went to a press day in London to see the game early, and they gave me a review copy to take home, guys. But if you notice down at the bottom, this is a 1.2 version of the game. So by the time the game does drop to everyone else on Friday, there will be more updates to come to the game. So this is the full game, but there might be just a couple of little smoothing out of things, and just making it more so more and more people are able to use it, guys. But if you have any questions about F1 2017, don't forget to leave them down in the comments, guys. But I can't thank Codemasters and AR12 for giving me the chance to get this game now, and between now and, well, September at least, the grind is going to be ridiculous, guys. I've got so many videos planned to, be released, guys, so hopefully you are ready for that. But today then, it's the first video. We've got to start our career mode, guys, and if you didn't see the video that I made a couple of weeks back, we will be driving as McLaren Honda, one of the two bottom teams at this game, and from what I was speaking to Codemasters, it's going to take a long time to, get the car up to a point where it's World Championship winning. Now, there were a few complaints about in 2016 that you could get any car to World Championship in 2 seasons. F1 2017 is going to be a very, very different story, guys. But let's move on then. Just confirm, we are actually going to be teaming up with Stoffel Van Dorn for this. It's going to be sort of like a McLaren reshuffle from 2016. Both Button and Alonso have decided to leave, so we're going to be teaming up with Van Dorn to try and literally bring McLaren Honda from nothing to glory. Well, qualifying, we will be doing a short qualifying for Season 1 and a 50% race. Formation laps is manual. AI difficulty, I usually run it on about 101, just because that's what I currently like. Assists, guys, I will be running nothing. I'll probably turn on Racing Line for the first few episodes, just in case. But I don't run any sort of like traction control, ABS on this game or anything, I've been sweating on the beta, trying to make sure I am good enough without all the assists, guys. But yeah, something to prove. We're already banking our achievements. And so, it's going to be a long, long season, guys. But this episode of Career Mode is probably going to be quite long now. I want to sort of just feature everything I possibly can to you guys. But yeah, just having a look at my assist then, because there'll be loads and loads of stuff on. ABS, we want off. Traction control, we want off. And we'll leave corners on, but only corners on only. Pit release assist, I'll sort of like see. I'm not going to disable it this episode just because I'll probably screw it over, but I'll do a couple of little races and practice it, ready to continue further down the line. Obviously, it is dynamic weather and official start time, so, everything like that is all good. But hopefully, we'll get some introductions to all our team and, the whole crew at McLaren. Woking, a very, very prestigious team, but they're definitely not at the high point at the moment. I think we can all agree to that. Here we are then, McLaren Honda. Eric Boulier over there. Just happy to have got his new signing, but let's go talk to Emma.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, is a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal.
Sounds
I'm
good to me.
also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
Here we are then. The start then, free practice 1. There are a lot more development paths on this game, to gain R&D. For those of you that don't know, the R&D has been completely updated. But new contract, welcome to McLaren Honda Formula 1 team. We are delighted to have you on board and look forward to working closely with you over the upcoming seasons. You'll start as second driver alongside your teammate Stoffel van Dorn. We expect you to work together and develop the car and the team as quickly as possible. Now let's get out there and win some points. I have a funny feeling we might struggle at the start of the season, but let's have a little. I like the fact you can look around now using your wheel, which is very nice. But we got some orange fruit there, obviously, to go along with the McLaren. But yeah, let's laptop introduction. Obviously, this is fairly similar to last season's game, but there is a few more. That whole menu so far isn't full because obviously I haven't unlocked everything yet. But obviously, F1 2017. The big thing is obviously about trying to protect your engine parts. Now, we'll probably get some penalties this season because the car just won't probably last far enough. Although, when I was speaking to the developers, it is possible to get everything to the end of the season without reaching penalties, but usually, people will take a hit. We're going to leave it on standard weekend tyre allocations because sometimes the tyre wear isn't perfect in comparison to real life, so we might have some issues with that, guys. But let's move on then into free practice 1 of my F1 2017 McLaren Honda career mode. Let's have a quick garage tutorial.
Formula 1 free practice sessions are a vital part of any Grand Prix weekend. During your F1 career, you'll be able to utilise these sessions to complete practice programmes, which will help you learn the track and earn you points that can be invested in developing your car. You'll also be able to adjust your car setup over the course of these sessions to try and find those extra fractions of a second.
But yeah, guys, as I was saying, F1 2016, the R&D system on it, personally, I felt was really good. But this time around, they have just whacked it up to 11. It is a brilliant. Well, you can see already, we've got 5 instead of 3 practice programs that we need to do. Obviously, 5 objectives as well, like we saw on last season's game. I have a funny feeling I'm not going to beat that top speed achievement, guys. But yeah, I'm going to sort of try and do as much, try and give you guys as much of the game as I possibly can in this first episode, so I'm probably going to go through and try to do all of the practice programs. But I think, to be honest, I might want to whip up a setup. I haven't got any setups on this game. I didn't really practice setups on the beta, guys. But I'm going to go for a slightly increased top speed, just because the McLaren has actually got still a very good chassis. So, we can sort of use that to our advantage, run a little bit less wings so we have somewhat ability to defend. But let's move on then. The first of the track acclimatizations, the first of the R&D is the track acclimatization. 345 points to get the green, but we're going for the purple. We've always got to go for the purple. Just look at that McLaren in lovely, lovely orange. That was the reason why I did pick it, guys. But unfortunately, you can't update force feedback or anything at the moment, so it might be a bit loud. I can only apologise for that. But I'll try and sort of avoid curbs where I can. But Australia is a very bumpy circuit as well. Exactly where you want them is going to be quite a tough challenge. But coming through Sector 2, this lap has actually been pretty good so far, if I do say so myself. We've had all purples and just 1 green. Oh, another big lockup. Come on, we've just about clipped that one. That was a bit close. But yeah, we're doing alright at the moment. If we can get through, if we can get purple, that would be... I'd be very, very happy with that. We're going to have to just try and bank so much R&D in the early stages of this career mode, just... So, we sort of... I'd like to think, by the end of Season 1, where we're fighting solidly within the points. But, this is sort of a learning experience for everyone at the moment. So, we'll have to wait and see how well we do fare when it comes to that. But in towards the final few corners we go. Taking a lot of curve there. But try and get the power down through the final corner then. And down towards the line. Is it going to be purple? I think it is, actually. 505 points. I think we've only gone and done it there. 470 points for purple. We have done it first time. Would you look at that? I'm pretty happy with that, guys. And I think, you know, we can move on to the next practice program, really, after that one. Not much more we can really do there. Nice 50 R&D points. What's the achievement? Hard work pays off. Complete your first practice program. That's very, very ideal. Obviously, the time management is a renamed version of the system from last year's games. We get another achievement there. But I'm going to, obviously, move on into this one next. Let's boost this up just a bit. In towards the final... Oh, I nearly had it in the purple then. Into the purple. Purple, purple, yes! Look at that. Nicely up into the purple through the final corner. We've also beat the lap that we needed to do as well. Time management complete. Another... Oh, there's a car behind me. Another 50 R&D points there. But yeah, so the final... We've got 50, 50, 50. The final two we've got is the qualifying pace and then the race strategy right at the very end there. So we're going to go out on the Ultra Softs for the qualifying pace run. Hopefully, you know, this does go all right, but well, we'll have to wait and see. The team only expect us to get 19th. That's a little bit unassuring, I won't lie. But, you know, I'll have to wait and see how we do fare. I think we might struggle to get the greens, the purples score, to be honest, this time around. We've made a lot of time up through the S section there. So be happy with that. You know, it's one corner that I seem to be able to get, like, especially in a car like this. You know, you can really just get it right because it's got so much downforce and not enough top speed that you can. It's very easy just to pinpoint where you need to turn in. You got a lot more thinking time than most of the cars. Now, out through the final corner then, we're going to be over a second, well, near enough a second up on the R&D there, on the predicted. We only still got the green score though, but we were a second off still. What it wanted us to get, we were only 2/10 off, so I'm happy with the green score there. You know, I think that's another 30 R&D points in the bag, so that is still very, very useful there, guys. But the final one we have got to do is the race strategy, and I don't actually know what this one is, to be honest with you. So it's clearly we're on the track for it, but I don't know if we've got to like make a pit stop or what. This is completely new to me. I haven't not done this one yet. I've got a Ferrari right on my chuff now, so I'll try and let Kimi through without slowing myself up too much. There we are. Goodbye, Mr. Raikkonen. Not too sure how much downforce we'll lose being stuck in his dirty air there. So, going to take that corner a little bit more cautiously than I usually would. But yeah, just it says a lot how quick some of these guys are. Because, you know, the AI won't be pushing yet. But Raikkonen, clearly, is a huge amount faster than me. And, you know, hopefully, you know, by the sort of the end of Season 4, perhaps, I hope, you know, we can be right up fighting with those guys. But out through the final corner. And down towards the line. This should be another green score, so we're going to take home the 30 R&D points there. And program complete. Oh, we did get 50 points. Okay, I'll take that. I don't know if you get points for chaining, but there we are. Another 50 R&D points there. That's been, I think, a fairly successful practice session, you know, on the whole. There's lots of data there, so you know, you can see we're a lot under the delta. And the tyre life are also slightly above, which is good. So we're quicker and better on the tyres. So this is looking good. We took all the objectives from there. So overall, we took 255 from 275 R&D points there. Having a look at the timings. So Lewis Hamilton already in the 1 minute 24s. And I am down on a 1 minute 27. So we're not looking good. Because that was on Ultra Softs as well. But let's end the first free practice session there, guys. We've done everything we really need to.
Practice session there, then. Let's remind
so we can sort of... Oh, sorry, Crofty. I continue to talk over there. We can sort of just move on into qualifying now. You know, we've done everything we needed to in free practice, but let's just hope we can move on further. Here we are then. Chris is back.
Ah, you got my message. Perfect. Welcome to home away from home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end, we... Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
He's very right there. You know, the immersion in this game, obviously, on 2016, if you put a part on the car, you put a part on the car. But as I was saying earlier on, we've just been given 3,000 R&D points extra. That's very, very useful there. And with all, obviously, the 250 odd we were able to bag in that session. So, very, very happy with that. 3,282 resource points there. Ready. And now, you know, I can show you a bit of a look through, obviously, all the R&D. So we've got 23 upgrades for the durability, 21 for the chassis, 26 for the aerodynamics, and 15 for the powertrain, as well as the fact you can actually upgrade the team. So that obviously means it is more and more interesting, guys. Yeah, obviously a lot of you will have seen the R&D tree by now. There is 115 upgrades to it. So I think, you know, to be honest, the team already knows where we need to develop. You can have a look. If you go into each sector, you can see how well each team is doing with their engines. So as you can see, Mercedes, obviously the Mercedes power unit cars are looking the best. The Ferrari powered cars are the second, well, joint fourth, if you will. The Renault cars are a little bit lower down. The Sauber, obviously where it's on an older engine, is a bit further down. And then McLaren is so far off, it's painful. But yeah, the first upgrade we have to do, though, is the ignition system. So it's only a minor upgrade. It will take us 2 weeks and is 1,000 R&D points. So I'm not even going to, like, sort of worry about that. You know, worry about not even spending those points, as we've still got 2,200 guys. But let's have a look then at the durability. And this is sort of just, you can't compare this to any other car because, you know, this is, nobody knows how well each other's cars are doing. You know, we need to, we're going to update some general wear. So, you know, the car, all the engine parts don't get, like, used out as easily. So the first one is the general wear increases durability of all power unit components as well as the gearbox by 10%. So obviously now it just means that we can keep using parts for longer if we want to, and you know, it just means that we've got a bit more flexibility further down the line. That upgrade will come at China. The third one then is the chassis, and if you have a look there, we are nicely up in 4th place there. So we're still going to obviously pile on the upgrades because, you know, we might as well. You cannot upgrade 2 or more things from, like, you can't upgrade stage 1 and stage 2 at the same time. You have to do one, then the next. Unlike 2016, you can't stack them. But we're gonna upgrade the central under tray weight reduction there. And you see, McLaren's not actually looking too bad in this area, but this game is just so in depth with it all. This upgrade will come in Bahrain, so a little bit further down the line as well. And last but not least, the aerodynamics, which we are a little bit further down on. And we don't have enough R&D points for that, but there we are then. The final part of that. But we have got about 3 upgrades now going on the car. Having a look further around, obviously, you can see the power unit. We've got approximately 411 laps left within it. The gearbox, we're overall 3% of the way through. And the weekend tyre allocation, obviously, is pretty standard. But yeah, so it's interesting, you know, the team reckon we can get a lot of laps at the power unit there, you can see we've got 4 of each part. So, you know, we're at 3% wear on that, 3% on that, and obviously 3% on 2% there on the energy store, and then 2% on the control electronics. But yeah, let's, I think, move in. Well, we're going to move into free practice, but I think, you know, we're going to move on into qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. So we earned 10 extra RD points there, and we have got our first rival.
Rival you have. Check his stats out.
So Emma there giving us our rival. I presume it's Van Dorn. Just obviously because, yeah, Stoffel Van Dorn, they're my teammate. You can see that over in the corner. It will just suddenly be giving me the eye to know that he's the top driver, you know. So yeah, ready then for qualifying for the first race of the season. You can just see overall in development, you know, Sauber and ourselves are way off the rest of the field there. Haas is actually next worse, and then you've got Mercedes and Ferrari near enough level. Red Bull a little bit off. Williams is still looking very, very strong in this game, which they might balance out because obviously Williams hasn't looked so good in recent races there, guys. But let's move on then into the first qualifying session of my F1 2017 career mode.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly.
Qualifying then. This is going to be, well, I say absolutely critical here, you know. I don't have, I'm still in no man's land, you know. I don't know how well we are going to do here. I'm going to ram the fuel load down as low as it will go to start this session, guys, and just sort of just feel like I'm going to have to roll from here. We've got 4 sets of tyres this game, obviously because you're allowed more sets of tyres in real life. But let's move on then. I doubt, you know, we'll use all my tyres, but let's move on then. The first qualifying session of my F1 2017 career. I'm going to say 2016 so much, guys, but I'd like to think if we could, you know, sort of get top 15, then that would be very, very successful, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't, to be honest, you know. As I think my fair aim should be just to beat my teammate. Track-wise, it's actually, I'm quite a big fan, to be honest. It's quite a nice little circuit there. As Hulkenberg goes into provisional pole with a 1 minute 24.8. I'll have to wait and see how I can compare to that in my little Mclaren in through the final sector there. We trimmed that apex ever so slightly, but nothing that I can't imagine the FIA, sorry, we get too upset about. Rewinds on, obviously, because it's a new game. I don't expect to run a perfect race straight away, guys. But through the final corner for a second attempt, we're barely onto the start-finish straight, and we're already way off his time. But we are slower than Van Dorn right at the moment, which isn't ideal. But we're gonna have to push for a second lap here, and just we've only got 1.16 laps worth of fuel, so we might actually. We've bottled it entirely there. Let's go back to the garage, see what the live timings look like, and then we'll probably go out for another run. Like, because if I'm miles off my teammate Van Dorn, then I'm going to be really upset. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. Van Dorn is only 0.2 quicker than me at the moment, so that is easily catchable. So I think, yeah, we can easily go out for another run on that. Wrong option there. Need to make sure, obviously, I'm still running ridiculously low fuel. Yeah, 2.8 laps worth. Tyre select, we're obviously... So the team reckon there's another 0.2 of a second to find there. So if we can out-qualify Van Dorn, then I'll be very, very happy with that. But I'll have to wait and see. Out through the final corner though, to start my second run. We've only got 3 minutes left of the session, so this will be our last ditch attempt to, you know, try and elevate myself up the order there. Nailing turn one once more, running a little bit wide on the exit there, but nothing too much to worry about there. We're sat down in P16 now, which isn't exactly ideal. And we've run a little bit deep into there once more, not exactly what I wanted, but we've still made up. Haven't lost out too much time there. So we found near enough 0.2 in the first sector now. And, you know, we sort of just need to try and make sure the rest of this lap is hooked up nicely. Final sector though, and we're, you know, just trying to get the car through. We've still got a couple of tenths advantage over my teammate Van Dorn. Try and keep it nice and tidy through the final couple of corners, guys. And we found a huge amount of time through the final corner. They're down towards the line then. It's going to be a 1 minute 25.7 there. P15 provisionally. I can be very, very happy with that, you know. We've got a Mercedes just behind me there. I'll try not to hold up Hamilton too badly there. But everyone else is going for their last ditch attempts now. And that's left me in a good position, to be honest. I'll be very happy if we can hold on to P15. Yeah, so look then. The end of qualifying.
For the race tomorrow. But before we go,
We got Raikkonen on pole. A bit of a surprise there.
Who are Raikkonen, Vettel, and Valtteri Bottas.
So a bit of a surprise by those guys at the top there, but only 2 tenths separated the top 4. Felipe Massa putting in the work to finish P5 there, ahead of both Red Bull cars. Did that qualify my teammate Stoffel Van Dorn by 3 tenths of a second there to start P17 on the grid tomorrow. And, you know, it's looking sort of a bit like I'm a little bit off at the Toro Rosso, but I'm a little bit ahead of my teammate, guys. But 29 laps of this Australian Grand Prix should be able to, you know, really sort the pace out a little bit better. And, you know, I sort of want, like, I mainly want to finish, but if we can sort of get, like, a top 15, if we could score points, that would be pretty damn ridiculous, guys. But let's move on into the Australian Grand Prix. And, you know, one stop, a bit of an alternate strategy. Well, everyone really probably can one stop this. And I'm going to cancel all that before I get FOM'd. But yeah,
we're almost ready to go.
Yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to get rid of all those graphics, unfortunately, because the FOM will pick it up. But Raikkonen, yeah, a 1 minute 22.9, that is a fairly solid lap there by him. But Ferrari front row lockout, very, very well done to them.
Hamilton, Felipe Massa and Verstappen, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Stroll and Nico Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Palmer, Sergio Perez and Ocon, Magnussen, Sainz, a McLaren and Stoffel Van Dorn, Wehrlein and Marcus Ericsson rounds off the grid.
Clearly they weren't a fan of showing the salvos there. But yeah, the start then of the Grand Prix. I know how the strategies work in this game, Jeff. But yeah, we're going to try and drag these tyres. Should we say 16 laps? Then we can take the second set, just 13. Fuel. I really don't know. The team want us to underfuel by quite a lot there. That's an aggressive strategy by the team. But I think for me personally, I'm just going to try and put... Well, I don't obviously want to shred the engine too much by putting too much fuel through the system. But I also don't want to, you know, be running low right at the very end, guys. So I'm going to run 30 laps worth of fuel for this Grand Prix. You know, just try and get the car through the first stint all nice and clean. And that'll leave us towards the end of the race looking very, very comfortable, guys. But this then... the start of my F1 2017 McLaren Honda career mode, guys. And we've got a... it's not letting us engage the clutch. I don't know what that's all about. The lights haven't come on yet. Oh, it's that one. Sorry, I thought it was the pedal. I'm a bit of a spoon. Here we are then. 5 lights for the Australian Grand Prix. And it's lights out. And away we go. And off to a fairly poor start there on the whole. Actually, my teammate Van Dorn able to get past me as well as Pascal Wehrlein here. We're just going to try and have a look to the outside in at turn 1. Still side by side with my teammate Van Dorn, who's opted on a set of the super softs for the first stint of this race. But with the rich revs, oh, everyone brakes really early. They're taking evasive action from a lot of drivers there. A little bit of contact with Sergio Perez as we've got a Haas down my inside. That's never ideal, but I think he's backed out now at last through the next corner there. But that's a solid start in the end. Up to P14. You know, if we can just sort of latch on to the back of this group, that would be very, very ideal. Well, I have a feeling we're going to struggle in these next few laps, but we'll have to wait and see. As we close in to Sergio Perez into that braking zone, you know, the whole Constantina effect showing at the moment what it's like. But we got Haas thinking about going for a move around or outside there, but we're just going to try and defend from that into the next corner there. Magnussen does cost himself a lot of time there. The AI can't go side by side through that corner there, so that's gifted me a little bit of breathing space, but I can't imagine we'll have the space for particularly long in this race. But sort of just, you know, we want to try and keep the engine in good shape as well as we break into the final corner. Quite a difficult corner, to be honest there. But that's the end of lap 1 of this Australian Grand Prix. 28 to go then. We've kept it clean for the start, and that's sort of the most important thing. And now we've just got to try and keep plugging away, try and keep up with Perez and Palmer, and just see where it can take us later on down this race. We've got Magnussen, who I feel Magnussen's going to be piling on the pressure to me before I can pile on the pressure to the Force India just up the road there as I lock up one of the front brakes, front wheels in through turn 3 once more. They're not exactly ideal, but still, what can you do? The end of lap 3 then, guys, and you can see Magnussen and Ocon behind me actually have fought quite a bit there, so they give me a little bit of breathing space. So I'm able to, you know, I'm sort of just trying to hold the gap at the moment, and the engine wear is looking very solid, to be honest. We're only at 6% after 4 laps there, so it's looking not too bad at the moment, but we'll obviously have to wait and see as we get further on into the race. You know, these early stages, you know, with F1 2017, you have to look so far into the future. You know, it's not about this one race, it's about trying to keep the car nice and good for a whole season's worth. You know, it's so much more immersive in that sense, guys. But we're still holding on to P14 at the moment, and we've just got to try and save the engine. Ooh, as I make a big mistake there. We need to try and save the engine as well as we possibly can at the moment. It's looking like the MG UK is going to struggle the most in these early stages of the season, but you know, I'm more than happy to... I'd like to try and get to Monaco on this first one, but at the moment it's not looking that likely. End of lap 5 then, we've got Magnussen and Ocon right on my gearbox here now. We've got the two cars just above the road fighting as well, but I feel we might be a bit of a sitting duck here down the front straight. Magnussen closing in a lot in towards turn 1 there, but just... Oh! Cheeky. That's a big slide there. We've somehow kept that facing the right direction there, but Magnussen and Ocon were 3 wide down in towards the next corner there. I'm just going to... Oh, I've outbroke myself slightly. I'm going to force them both wide. But I hold on to P14 for now. And that all got a little bit too scary all of a sudden. Ocon just went for it, and I think he's now passed Magnussen as well. But these guys are obviously on a set of the super soft tyres. I'm only on a set of the soft. So if we could try and stretch these to sort of lap 20 perhaps, we could then try and go onto a set of the ultra softs to the very end. You know, sort of just see how that would fare. You know, a bit of an alternate strategy. It would mean we've probably actually got some good solid pace at the end of the race. But Ocon now, having a look right around the outside there, what's he going to be able to do? I just defend on the inside for all my worth, and we do hold on once more to P14 here. You know, it's just about trying to hold on at the moment, as Julian Palmer has dropped a lot off the guys just ahead of him there. I don't know if he's got an issue, or he's damaged his front wing, or what there, but he's dropped off a lot. And we're not actually ridiculously far off the points, to be honest. So Ocon, well, he's probably going to still get a run on me down in towards turn 3. Just look at the extra... We're just going to back out. Oh, cheeky. I'm not actually going to back out of that accidentally. I'm going to back out of it now, though, because I didn't even intend to try and stick my nose in there. But Ocon moves up to P14 of the race. We're just going to sort of try and latch on to him now and see if we can try and keep up with him. You know, if he can try and get past Palmer, you know, Palmer even slow them both down a bit, that could leave me nicely up the order. They'll line up a move on me. I would have thought it'll go to the outside there. Palmer and Ocon going side by side there. Ocon has gone right around the outside of him there. That was a brilliant move. Fair play. The AI able to pull off better moves than me there. That was incredible, as Sainz behind is trying to have a look for a move on Magnussen there. This is all going on all around me here, but I just don't seem to be getting involved in the battles. But we will have DRS now on Julian Palmer. He'll have defence because obviously he's got DRS from Ocon. But into the final couple of corners here. Palmer, he's on a set of softs as well, so he's going for the same strategy as me, but we're right over his rear, all over his gearbox here, and down towards turn 1 here. We're going to put it up into Rich, duck back into the slipstream there. People are already pitting it down the inside of Palmer into turn 1, and we do move up to P11 of this Australian Grand Prix. The top guys have already started pitting So we need to be a bit wary of that, you know. These guys, you know, we sort of don't want to hold them up, you know. We're not really in at the same racer. There's a Ferrari just ahead of Ocon there. But we're up to P11 now. Obviously, a net about P14 still. But yeah, this is looking good. Keep on motoring with our race here. We got the Force India still, obviously. Oh, no. That's been a costly error there. The Toro Rossos have rammed into the side of me there. I don't think I've got damage from that, but he definitely lost a bit of his front wing there, but that was just running over the grass. It can really, really bite back. Now as we come into the final sector of the lap, we're still on the back of Sainz though, and he'll be pitting fairly soon, I feel. But they'll probably, you know, the air will probably come in, depending on if they're going super soft to softs. They'll probably come in sort of around lap 11, lap 12, but into the final sector. And what are we able to do? Oh, big snap of oversteer once more there. I can't get that final corner right. We got Ricciardo behind, who's on a set of the ultra soft tyres, who's just going to be closing to me. Someone's come out the pits as well. That is Felipe Massa there, who's parked it in front of Carlos Sainz, so that's going to help me out. An absolute bunch there. We've got to watch out for Ricciardo behind as well. So much is going on at the moment. Ricciardo just opts to park it behind me there. But we're actually, well, we're sort of in a battle for the points at the moment. But I'm sort of there, like, we'll let Ricciardo through. Because no point me holding him up. Once we get a good shot, we'll let him through. And then if he can sort of slow down Sainz as we lose the back end once more, that'll be very, very ideal for me. Out of the final corner there, you know, I'm not going to try and defend from him down towards turn 1 here, but we're nearly halfway through the race now. And we're still looking pretty damn solid. Magnussen is now under pressure from Hulkenberg. A few more drivers in the pit lane now. This is where a lot of the super soft runners will opt to come in here, guys. And we're going to be in the top 10 of this Australian Grand Prix there. That's something we can be proud of, I think. Van Dorn has now made his pit stop here, but if we can take these tyres another 6 laps, which should be very easy to do so, to be honest, we'll be looking, well, we're going to go on to the Ultra Softs to the end of the race if that's the case, but I sort of just want to, this top 10 now, we just want to hold on to it, you know, for a little bit, enjoy the glory behind it. I'll try and just get the power down when I can here, as Hulkenberg, he's going to be a new person trying to go right around outside. We've got a Toro Rosso as well, but Hulkenberg, we try and keep the nose in. We're going to be going side by side. He leans on me there, forces me out wide. Got an illegal overtake on him there, even though he pushed me out wide. Got another car trying to go for a move as well. We're just going to try and brake into the next corner there. Hulkenberg slipped by Sainz. Jody and Palmer is out of the race as well. Kvyat, sorry, has slipped by. We've got Sergio Perez now right behind me as well. But this race it's been action from the very start. You know, it's been very, very exciting, to be honest. You know, there's been a lot going on, especially with the split strategies around here. And someone else has come through the pits. Perez is going to have a look down my inside in towards turn 1, but we swing it. Oh, cheeky. Accidentally came right across in there as we lost the back end. But Perez, I'm just going to go to the outside, mate. Slip by. You're a much quicker driver and a much quicker car as we try. Perez just doesn't go for the move. And look how fast Sainz has already pulled up the road just because of that. If they want to go for a move, I'm more than happy for that. But they got to make the move stick at least. But Perez, once again, he should be able to get a move down through here. That Force India is so fast in a straight line. Oh, cheeky. Bit of contact with the wall. As I think we've now got a Haas going through. I'm not going to try and... Oh, Grosjean, mate. A little bit feisty, don't you think? Oh, back end kicking out there. But we're losing a couple of positions here. You know, we're not in a race with these guys at this moment in time. So, you know, when it gets to sort of lap 20 and we go on to set the ultras to the end, then I'll be feeling a bit more confident. You know, reliability is a very strenuous test. So for teams, it'll be an interesting chance to see how well their car is faring there. As Ocon can have a look past because I made a bit of a mistake running on the grass there. And that's not what I wanted. But still, you know, we're not in a race with him. So I'm not too worried about letting him through there. We've got a couple more laps until my pit stop here. Yellow flags are out, so it was good that Ocon got the move done there. There is one Valtteri Bottas there. He'll be gutted with that result there. And I presume the fact that he's parked up will mean he's had an engine failure. So the AI is still prone to that a bit more than the driver. But with it F1 2017, there is a lot more chance for your engine to fail once you sort of get parts over 60%. Obviously the wear is really high then, and then, you know, the car sort of starts to get a little bit funny about things, and then potentially, you know, parts can just fail. Have a look though, we've actually kept the car pretty damn intact when it comes to engine. I haven't been too strenuous on it so far. So I've just been trying to be smooth this race. As we've got another driver out there. Have I missed that somewhere? The safety car has been deployed. Marcus Rixon out of the Grand Prix there. So that has given me a really strong position in this race. We can go on to a set of the Ultras now. Right through to the very end. And that is, well, that has worked out wonderfully for me. Onto a set of Ultras we go to the very end of this Australian Grand Prix. Van Dorn is the car behind me, so hopefully, you know, we can sort of, either he's coming into the pits as well, or we can stay out ahead of him. But on the Ultras to the end, Van Dorn, I think, is he going to get past me? Yes, he will. But this is going to bunch up the whole field here. Not really too sure. Oh, how do I... That's the one, to disengage the pit limiter. But yeah, we've got two cars stranded on track, which I can sort of see why they've done it then. So Rixon, it looks like he's had an engine failure there as well. So not ideal for him, but we sort of actually need to push at the moment. As we run a little bit deep, because the safety car, like, we will have to catch everyone back up here. I've now been able to catch up to the safety car guys, and I think it probably will, is it coming in this lap or the lap after? We'll find out fairly soon, but we didn't have too much time. You know, I had to push throughout this whole lap, but we're down in P14 at the moment. Got Sainz just behind me here, who's also on a set of the Ultra Softs. So it might be us two trying to surge our way up into the points, guys. But at the moment, I feel points are definitely on the cards. You know, Van Dorn can try and get out the way fairly quickly. So obviously he is on a much slower set of tyres. Then that'll put me up to P13. Then we only need to make 3 overtakes. And that could be... what a story it would be if we're able to score points in our first ever race there. Safety car is in this lap though. And we are going to have to nail the final 8 laps of this Grand Prix if we want to try and score points in our first ever outing for McLaren, guys. The Zoom Racing, no overtaking here. I run into the back of a teammate there nearly. This green flag, oh, I've completely botched up that restart there. I broke just at the wrong time there, but still, we're obviously on a fresher set of the tyres. You know, it's far from over just yet. Back up into Rich we go. Sainz, please don't go for a move. We got blue flags as well. Sainz thinks about going for a move down in towards someone that I have to swing it right around his outside there. As I make a little bit of a mistake on the exit of the corner there, but blue flags hopefully, you know, can help me out here. I'm going to try and defend from Sainz with all my worth there as I lock up into turn 2 there. But the lapped car of Verline is getting in the way of absolutely everybody there. Kvyat and Van Dorn. Van Dorn gets caught out by him there, so I do now move up to P13 of the race there. Very unlucky for my teammate Van Dorn there. You know, the Verline, not really too sure what he was doing there in all honesty, but there's one more lapped car further up the road. And we just want to sort of try and use this opportunity to its absolute fullest at the moment. If Van Dorn can slow up Sainz for the rest, that'd be absolutely brilliant. So we don't have to worry about what is going on behind me. is such a train. Stroll now dives into the pit lane there. That is not a good strategy call by the Williams team there, but there's people in the pits. There are people in the pits, and we're going to move up to P8 of this Grand Prix here. So this, we have been gifted points in this Australian Grand Prix here. You know, Van Dorn is in the points as well, so McLaren, we could be looking at a double points haul here. And I don't think this race is over yet. You know, we got Magnussen, who is a lap down, parking the bus on everyone just up ahead of him there. You know, is he going to do what Verline did one lap before? Yes, he is. Kvyat gets caught out there, so in fact, Magnussen nearly puts me in the wall there, but we go for a daring move. Up to P7 now in this Grand Prix we go. And the AI, this is happening at exactly the worst time for them, but the absolute best time for myself in this Australian Grand Prix there. So the engine brake a little bit too much there. Back end still kicking out, but Kvyat now, the car behind me here, and you know, we can defend from that Toro Rosso. Has got a better power, well, hasn't really got much of a better power unit than myself here. If we can just carry on pushing, P7 in the Australian Grand Prix would be ridiculously good. We've got Raikkonen now right behind me as we move on into the second to last lap of this Grand Prix. And I said, you know, there's not really much chance that we're going to be able to hold up a Ferrari, but I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make it a reality, guys. Raikkonen has a look to the outside of brake as late as I possibly can. Force him out wide there. Raikkonen will not be happy with that. But I just want to hold on to as many points as I can in this Australian Grand Prix. If we can hold on against Raikkonen, and I think we can hold on against just about anyone in the Formula 1 field, guys. But Raikkonen will definitely... That won't be the end of that story, as he's still, once again, right on my gearbox. Just a couple of corners later, as we just need to try and get a tidy run through onto this long back straight, if you will. Push him to the outside once more. And, you know, if he can get the whole car past before the next section, he does, unfortunately, but we try and keep our nose in there. Going to go for a bit of a switch back there, but the Ferrari, that power unit is just going to be too strong to try and have a look down the inside in towards the final couple of corners of the lap there. But, yeah, a bit gutted by that, but what can you do, you know? He should have been miles ahead of me anyway in this race, but that's going to take my points haul from 6 down to 4 at the absolute most there. As the team want me to pit, I lose the back end absolutely massively there. Have to hold up Kvyat as much as I possibly can. Down towards someone though. He's going to have a look down my inside there. Is he going to go for the move? We try and hold it right around the outside there. Dab a wheel on the curb, foot to the floor, out of the corner here. Magnussen now is a lap down and still trying to go for moves, so he definitely needs to back out of that. But we're just trying to hold on for all we possibly can now. If we can try and get back past Kvyat, that'll be very, very ideal. You know, I wanted to try and hold on to as many places as I possibly could, and down in towards the final 2 sectors of this Australian Grand Prix. It's all gone, well, I say it's all gone wrong at the very end. We've lost out on a handful of points right at the very end of this Grand Prix. The back end kicks out once more. I've dinked the front wing there. That's definitely going to be the end now of that. Magnussen, mate, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but just either park it behind me or go through, please. You're a lap down. You're not going to be able to make anything from it. But yeah, unfortunately there, a couple of mistakes right at the very end. Magnussen is trying to push me down in towards the final couple of corners of this Grand Prix. I've lost all concentration right at the very end there. Van Dorn has been robbed of points, but Max Verstappen is going to come through to win the Australian Grand Prix. A very odd Grand Prix, to say the least. So much action all the way throughout, guys. And, you know, if you've made it to this part of the race, I salute you. But it's 2 points for McLaren in the first race of the season, guys. That has been one of the hardest races I've ever done. And what an introduction to F1 2017 there, guys. That was crazy on the whole, you know. I cannot believe everything, you know. There was so much battling all the way through that race. And, you know, to be able to come through at the very end there,
A
we
great
can
win
still
then for the
be
Red
very
Bull team
happy.
today.
But Red Bull, the shot winners today, Verstappen obviously in the right place at the right time there, and that has been a well-deserved win for him, trying to keep it out of any
I can
incidents.
see now the drivers are making their way out. We need Red Bull fighting at the front. They do an incredible...
Red Bull get a double podium there with Felipe Massa
Another winner's trophy.
in P2 there. That is looked very, very strong for them in the start of this season there. But those guys obviously spraying the champagne now. They'll all be very, very happy with those results in the Australian Grand Prix there. But Felipe Massa, I think, you know, he deserves a round of applause in that Williams car to come through in P2 there. But what a shot podium. And what shot results all the way through the field there.
Verstappen takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Difficult call, Crofty, but I'd like to say Sergio Perez.
Sergio Perez did very, very well.
His tyres, and he
Force
showed
India
that
there,
today.
4th and
The
6th
constructors then.
in that race.
To the top of the table. Well,
But
what a weekend.
Lewis Hamilton,
Please join
Van
us
Dorn
next time.
unfortunately dropped way out the points right at the very end there. He just got golfed in by 1,000th of a second to Lewis Hamilton there. Van Dorn, you know, that McLaren Honda power unit has cost him 11th place there right at the very end of that Grand Prix there. But we have taken home 2 points for Toro Rosso. I guarantee you that will not be a recurring theme in the early stages of this season. But obviously we're 9th in the drivers' standings and we are 7th in the constructors. 8 teams scored points there. The only 2 not to score were Mercedes and Sauber. That really just does say it all there. Mercedes, 9th place overall in the constructors' standings. I guarantee you they won't be there for long. Ferrari only able to take home 6 points there. They're behind Haas. The works team are behind the B team there. And that is definitely not been, you know, something they'll want to take back to the factory in Maranello there, guys. But Red Bull, top of the constructors, more points than the next 2 teams combined. But Force India just ahead of Williams there. What a strong showing for those 2 teams, guys. But that has been the end of the Australian Grand Prix there, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, you know, it's probably going to be about a 40-minute long video by the looks of it. Don't forget to smash that like button as well. But yeah, obviously any questions you have about F1 2017, do not forget to leave them down in the comments. I do respond to every comment I get, so, you know, make sure if you have any questions about the game, I will try to answer as much as I possibly can, guys. But just have a look then. Overall, 100% clean laps there, 8 positions gained and 124 R&D points there at the end. We should be ahead of my teammate there, and we did get a much faster lap. So a 6 out of 30 compared to his 3 out of 30 there. And Renault and Mercedes and Sauber very, very happy with the results I have been able to get there. Introduction to career score as well. So we'll obviously get a few points on that leaderboard, guys.
Indeed it is. And this is Jonathan. He's going to let you drive some of his cars.
Well,
Ooh.
not quite my cars, per se. It's a mere detail. You know, I'd really rather be down there racing them myself, to be honest. I'm actually quite handy behind the wheel, but it's the downforce, those lateral Gs, you know? The old neck can't really handle it. So I need a pro. And that's where you come in. We run in a bunch of events throughout the year. Time trials, races, all sorts. And I have it on good authority that you have the ability and temperament to do well in these. Make our business look good and, most importantly, bring the cars back in one piece. So consider this a formal invitation. I'll see you at the track.
So there we are then, guys. We've got an offer from Jonathan to go see him, but that will be in next episode, guys. We're going to finish this off now because this video I've been recording for 90 minutes, guys, but that'll be what we do next time out. We've got an overtake challenge at Britain Short or a pursuit at Japan Short, guys. But yeah, that is going to be the end of episode 1 of my McLaren Honda career mode, guys. And I will see you all next time for the Chinese Grand Prix.